We're looking for people with a very specific skill set. We need people who can read and understand cutting-edge science.
It's very, very important to understand probability, statistics, correlations, and covariances.
We study DNA profiles from pretty much any human source that you can think of.
Our group was very interested in using predictive medicine, as we called it at the time, to better understand drug response.
We need people who can think independently, who can make decisions, be satisfied with those decisions, and move on. We need people who can communicate well, both in writing and verbally. We deal with a lot of inventors and their lawyers, both in writing and on the telephone and in personal interviews, and you have to be able to communicate your concepts and the way you look at things extremely succinctly and clearly.
What we need in a prospective employee is obviously a strong background in genetics, population genetics, and molecular biology, but we want somebody who's ready to go as soon as possible.
The value of the PSM graduate program, from my experience, I've dealt with people from two programs, the Penn State, the Hux Institute Masters in Biotechnology, and UConn, the Applied Genetics program. In each case, we found that these programs gave people the scientific principles and knowledge of biotechnology that we felt we needed to have, that they had basic and in some instances advanced laboratory skills.
A strong hands-on background is highly desirable, and that is where the PSM program has been very helpful. It's somewhat different than a lot of the traditional forensic programs, where it's at least been our experience that they're ready to go about a year after they're hired, whereas the PSM persons that we've been familiar with and working with the University of Connecticut are ready to go essentially immediately.
The value to the industry partner is enormous from my perspective. There are a number of times that these students have generated novel findings, and they've been able to incorporate that into some of our product strategy ideas.
I didn't want to be in a lab for the rest of my life, and this is the case with most people that I've met at the patent office. They wanted to interact. I like to talk, I like to interact with people. My first love is science, but I also want to integrate interacting with people with science and being able to teach science as well.
I always knew I wanted to be a scientist. I never shied away from taking the science courses, and therefore my career goal is to be a productive scientist, hopefully in the pharmaceutical industry. I enjoy the idea of potentially making a discovery that can have a positive effect on mankind.
As I spent more time in industry, I started to become really interested in the business side a little bit more than I ever thought I would. And when I joined Ventana to start up the reagent manufacturing program for the Molecular Discovery Systems Group, I found that I was doing a lot more business than I ever thought I would.
The financial math program is the courses are offering real analysis, stochastic modeling, probability and statistics, linear regression, fixed income, option pricing, and also there you can also elect class from other math and statistics offerings.
It allowed me to really hone my skills as a scientific writer and be able to communicate science to a general population.
A few factors that make the PSM program and my specific Masters of Microbial Biotechnology program different are the industrial context, again, through the internship, the case studies, the advisory boards, and the mentorship program.
When I found the PSM program, I was really excited because it seemed to be exactly the kind of education that I wanted, and I also thought that it would be differentiating for me in the future.
I really didn't think it was taking a chance at all hiring someone who's a PSM grad, because all PSM grads who I've talked to and seen are very, very well grounded in mathematics and science, and are very, very logical and understand how to put complex things together to get a simple answer with complex issues.